go ahead and get started. My name is Ms. Gunter. I teach sixth grade math here at Metzger. Again, for those of you just joining us, there will be a link in the chat for you to click to mark your attendance so that we know who is here with us. I also wanted to let you know that your students should have already done a survey through their social studies class to let us know who's going to be returning to campus next week. There are still a few surveys that are out. Again, those all went out through social studies class. So those that are not completed, that's where they're going to be seeing those surveys. So we just want to make sure that everybody gets their survey completed so we know who's going to be returning to campus and who is not. We just want to be as prepared as we can be to receive your students. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. G, and he's going to let you guys know about what it's going to look like returning to campus and our new schedule that we're going to be switching to.
Good evening. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. I'm kind of going to talk about we're going to kind of be doing a little bit of different schedule and a few different things. And so we're kind of explaining the rationale behind that. And so I'm going to bring that up right now. And we also have a video out. I don't know if anyone's seen that. We put one on Facebook. We got one on the website, kind of some of the procedures, safety procedures that we're going to put in play to try to keep the students safe as they return. And so it's a video all the administrators did. You can get on the website, Facebook. I think also a YouTube channel Mr. Chestnut had created for us, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Good to go. All right. So what we're going to talk about now is the students coming back, and we call we're going to have a little bit of change in schedule, and I'm going to kind of talk about that. I don't like it. So what's going to end up happening is we're going to go to a 90-minute schedule coming back when the kids get back. And we're also going to go to some odd and even days kind of thing. On A days, we're going to go to 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. And on odd days, we're going 2, 4, 6, 8. We're not doing it to try to confuse anyone or throw a loop. And I'm going to kind of explain that as we continue going on. And so some of the reasons are, we got a plan to go virtual and face-to-face. When the kids come back, we're still going to be, we are going to be teaching them. The teachers are going to interact with them. But students are also going to be still working on their Chromebook because we never know at any point if there was an outbreak or something was to happen, we would have to be able to go back to virtual with the easiest possible transition. So, that's part of the reason we're going to a 90-minute so we can get some more blended learning opportunities in there. Once again, also, the teachers are going to be working real hard, and this is going to be a learning process. No one's ever done this, and we've never done it, and so we're going to be trying to manage it in students in front of us and virtually, so the teachers have their work cut out for them. But we've been going to PDs, and they've been really working hard to try to figure that out. So please, bear with us, and they're going to be working hard. Students are still going to be required to bring their Chromebooks every day. Students are going to be working on Chromebooks, but they're also going to have a teacher there. The reason we're going to a 90-minute AB schedule is because we're trying to, do as few as possible passing periods. The less the kids are passing, the easier it is and the safer we can keep them. Once we start passing students through the hallways and stuff, we have that, higher chance of, infections or things happening. So, we had to go to fewer passing periods. We're also going to be having 4 lunches built in there, some arrival and dismissal procedures in there built into those times. And once again, education or the safety is our top priority. I mean, we can't educate them unless, we're being safe as possible. We want to have ongoing communication with you all, and that's why we're having this forum. Once again, we're going to be posting this on Facebook when we're done. We're going to be putting out the schedule, and after this meeting, probably tomorrow, you'll see the actual bell schedule on the website, on the Facebook site, everywhere else, and you'll see everywhere we're going to have it ready for y'all. And once again, this starts next week. So this week, make sure we're doing the same thing. Students are going to keep logging in to all their classes every day. That's important. Even if they're not, don't have it, to do the checkpoints. And next week, things are going to change. So starting Monday, this will take effect. So I'm just going to bring this all the way up here. So on the new schedule, we're going to have A days and B days like we still do now. We're going to have 4 classes, like I was telling you, but they're going to be 90 minutes of instruction now. Currently, right now, we only have about 50 minutes of instruction built in there. And, we also have some asynchronous time and all that built in the beginning and the end of the day. And then so on the A days, we're going to go odd classes 1, 3, 5, 7, and on the B's 2, 4, 6, 8. And the reason we're going to do that is because when we go to these 90-minute classes, most of our ELR classes and reading classes are built with a block schedule, which would mean if we didn't go 1, 3, 5, 7, our students would be in an English class for about 180 minutes. And we just felt that would really bog them down. And, we felt like we needed to get them up at some point, get them to another subject. So, and what I mean by that, most blocks are 1, 1st and 2nd, 4th and 5th, and 6th and 7th. If we run them back to back like that, then of course they're going to be stuck in that every day. So this is very important to remember, especially those virtual students. The students coming back, they're going to have a little bit easier time understanding because they're going to be in front of us. But if your child's staying virtual, starting on Monday, they're going to be going to 1, 3, 5, 7, and they're going to be 90-minute classes and things so forth. And there are passing periods and stuff built in there. And we just kind of modified this. I don't know if everyone's seen this, but I'm pretty certain it's on the website. Ms. Fuentes has got it out in the packets and some other things. And all we did was kind of modify it to make it look like the A days up here. I don't know if you can see my little pointer. I don't know if it shows on the Zoom or not. But if you look where it says A days in that green little box, it shows that A days are 1, 3, 5, 7 with no school and so forth, and early dismissal day in there and all that. And then, of course, we're going to remain at this the rest of the year because, once again, we don't know what's going to go on. We're committed to this for the entire school year. So we'll provide a new AB schedule by next semester that should be coming out here. And, just keep an eye and looking out for it. All right. So our bell schedule is going to kind of look like this. We're going to start breakfast from 7:30 to 8. And how that's going to look, if your student is a bus rider, they're going to come to the back of the bus loop where they do every day, start lining students up because they're going to come fast and furious. And we're going to try to, we get put tape out there. If you watch the video, you're going to see the exact procedures. Then we're going to bring them to the gym and they're going to grab a sack breakfast and they're going to go straight to their first period class because there's no way we build a house the anticipated return in students in the cafeteria with a social distance. So they're going to go straight there for breakfast. And then class starts at 8 a.m. So if you're obviously if you're a virtual learner, then we expect you to get on 8 a.m. now, not 9 like they have previously, because that's where we're going to start. We are going to do lunches. They're going to vary by grade levels. We're going to have a 6th grade lunch. We're going to have a 7th grade lunch in there. We're going to have an 8th grade lunch, and then we're going to do what we call mixed electives. And the reason we're doing that is because on the other end of our PE classes are a little bit larger. Our band class at that time is one of our larger band classes and stuff. We're going to have them, and they're on the same side of the building pretty much, most of our mixed classes, so they'll be together. Once again, we're going to have 4 classes each day, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 90 minutes. And once again, I've repeated that all year. And this is what it's going to look like. This is going to be out there for you. And I'm trying to take it all in right now is not going to work. I mean, you can kind of look at it. And if you kind of look, the way we had to build in our lunches was to a longer 5th period. And we had to do that, and we built in what we call the asynchronous time. And during that time, we're going to put the students on Imagine Math and Imagine Reading. And the reason we're doing that, they say if a student does 30 lessons or more in a year, that they're supposed to see a lot of growth in a school year. So we had to build that in, and that's about 40 minutes between that lunch. And so I know it looks a little crazy down there when you start looking at going to lunch here, class here, but within that 5th period on A day and 6th period, there's 100 and something minutes built in. I can't remember, it's 68 or something, but that's including their lunch, their asynchronous time, and then the class time of 90 minutes. And like I said, once again, I'm going to keep saying this: A day is 1, 3, 5, 7. B day 4, 6, and 8. And in that 8th period, we're building also. That's going to be a little bit different. We built that 8th period to provide some support for our students. We're putting with particular teachers. A lot of students for that 8th period. We're doing a program called Carnegie Math, which is another program that's going to help our students, and teachers have identified those students, and they're going to be working on that during that 8th period, and we're going to provide some counseling time in there and some other things in that 8th period, some different assignments.
1st, 3rd, and 5th now.
All right. And once again, like we said, be ready, man. Students are coming back on Monday, the 28th. We're going to start that A day. It's going to be 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Those that'll be there with us will know. And that is all I have as far as the schedule. And then at the end of the presentation, I can go in further detail with you about the schedule and some procedures if you have concerns.
All right, Mr. Hughley is up. He's going to talk to us about attendance.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing great. There is going to still be pretty much the same system for attendance. The only difference is that starting on Monday, the students will only have to do a check-in for the period that we're in. Monday will be an A day. Therefore, it would be periods 1, 3, 5, and 7, all the odds. And on a B day, it'll be 2, 4, and 6. Again, they must do a check-in only for the classes that they are attending for that day. They will no longer have to do check-ins for all periods, even though they don't attend. Also, the teachers wanted me to remind all the parents and students that are in attendance that not only are they required to do the check-in every day, but they're also required to do the assignments that are also attached to that date. So please make sure the students are completing assignments as well. If you have any questions about attendance, please feel free to reach out to us or put it in the form. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, Mr. Chestnut with tutoring.
All right, so our tutoring has actually changed this week. We were doing 3 hours per night from 5 to 8 o'clock every night, and unfortunately we did not have the attendance needed to keep that up. So we have shifted to 2 nights a week for math and reading, which are Monday and Wednesdays, and 2 nights a week for social studies and science, which are Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've also supplemented our math and reading with the Judson tutoring hotline, which I'm about to put in to the chat. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can go to the tutoring hotline from 6 to 8, as well as having our math and reading tutoring on Mondays and Wednesdays. All tutoring is also posted on each individual teacher's. This is our evening tutoring, and some of our teachers are offering other tutoring in the mornings from 7:30 to 8 and from 3:30 to 4 o'clock as well. That's all I have, Ms. Gunther.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Hardaway with registration, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So in terms of registration, we just need to make sure that all of your registration documents have been uploaded. So the required documents that are needed are your proof of residency, your driver's license, birth certificate, social security card, and most importantly, shot records. I know that even if they're virtual or if they're coming face to face, we still need to have all of those documents uploaded into our parent self-serve portal. So if you can get that information uploaded, if they're coming on campus, we cannot have them on campus without having those documents uploaded into the system. You should have received phone calls from us if you haven't had that information in our system. And also lastly, we do have a parents needs assessment that we're asking all parents to fill out for us. That link is being put in the chat right now. So if you can take a moment and just complete that survey for us, it'd be great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Sorry about that. I had lost my video. Mr. Robertson.
All right, thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you real quick how we can set up our parent self-serve accounts. If you go to the main Metzger band website, or excuse me, the main Metzger Middle School website, you can find it on the Judson ISD homepage. If you go to campuses on the right, you'll be able to drop down and select Metzger. From here, the Return to Learn tab will give you all the information that you need. So if students are forgetting passwords, we have a link right here. But I want to show you guys right here on the bottom where it says Parent Self-Serve, Parent Portal. Going to open that up. And we also have it in Spanish as well. Click that link. And it's going to give you information how you can sign into the Parent Self-Serve. Returning parents, last year we had something called Parent Center. This is the new version of Parent Center. It's called Parent Self-Serve. So when you click here, it will take you to the login page. Couple directions how to sign up. So you're going to come down here to sign in. And once you sign in, this is the same password that you use, or same username and ID and password you use when you registered your students. If you do not remember that, you can click forget password, and it will go ahead and get that back for you. So right now, let me go ahead and log in. So if you are a parent of multiple students in the district, you will see all of the students right here. You can go ahead and click any one. It will take you to this screen. Before I click all these different tabs, I want to make your attention to the Edit Contact Info tab. You're going to go ahead and click that. This is very important. We strongly encourage to not make your number and your email private, because if you mark it private, you will not be set up to get the notifications for failing grades or tardies or absences. So make sure that you have this selected no, as well as your email addresses. No, you do not want them private, then hit Submit Changes. Now, the most important one, where everyone kind of wants to know how to set up grade alerts, you click Notifications. Under this Notifications tab, this is where you can set alerts for attendance, for unexcused absences and tardies. You can have it off, or you can have it alert you only for first occurrence or every occurrence. Same thing with daily assignment grades, missing, incomplete, and you can even set a grade threshold if you want to be alerted if your child's grade in a class drops below, say, a 70, or if you want to say, I want it to be alert when it drops below 75, you can go ahead and set that alert as well. Same thing over here for grades current cycle average. That's your current 9 weeks. Your progress report grades. We just had a progress report come out last week. And then the report card grades. It's always important to click your save notification choices here at the bottom. Now, real quick, I wanted to show you, I'm not too sure many of you saw your child's progress report grades from last week, but there's a progress report tab up here where you can see all of the different grades. And if you see down here, it says note, click on a grade to see the associated assignments grades. The current average is in red based on assigned grades entered. The red grades are not final grades. So in the middle school students, you're going to see black grades and then red grades. The black grades are what were verified at our progress report deadline 2 weeks ago. So if you click a grade, it'll actually show you all of the different assignments, basically the teacher's grade book for your child. If you see something that you don't like, or you want to contact your teacher, you have a tab up here that says email teacher. So you click the email teacher tab, and you can go ahead and click and drop down and directly email any of your child's teachers here through the parent self-serve application. Next, this is the parent side. Next, I wanted to show you the student side. With your student's login on the main website, you're going to click down here to My Judson ISD portal. Once they log into the portal, this student self-serve icon, it looks like a globe. This is what they need to click to log in to view their information. So once they click that, it's important too that you use Chrome and you don't use Internet Explorer, because it's not going to work. You're going to sign in. And when we sign in, give me 1 second here. Let's see. So now I'm logged into the student self-serve side. This is the side of this where students can actually monitor their grades and alerts. They can see their report cards, their attendance, if they're actually being marked present in their classes, their progress reports. So this is actually a student who's in middle school. See how it has grades in black and then grades in red. You can click any one of those assignments and those grades, and it'll populate all the different assignments for that class. Same thing, you have access to email the teacher as a student. Different drop down menu right here. And then even the students, they can set notifications for attendance off, or you can do every occurrence. I want to set an alert for my daily assignments. I'll make sure that's turned on. Grade value, I want to be alerted when my grade is below 70. And current grade, if my grade drops below 70, I would like to be alerted for that. And then save notifications. So this is what the students have access to in the student self-serve application. And we'll go ahead and put links in the chat where you can access that from home.
All right, thank you, Mr. Robertson. Okay, before we go on, I just want to apologize about the attendance for the meeting. I know that our link was having some trouble, and then we did have you guys putting some information in the chat, but we are going to put the link up. We just made a whole new link. If you could put that information in there, because we do need your first and last name, your student's first and last name, and their grade. So you should be able to do it on the link, and Miss Leon just put it in the chat right now. So if you could please click that, and I'm going to toss it to Coach Page for a little bit on athletics.
It helps if I unmute. Good evening, everybody. I am Coach Page. I am the girls athletic coordinator on campus. I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of information about athletics. Athletics is available for all 7th through 8th grade girls and boys, and Coach Jones will be on to talk about the boys and just as soon as I'm done. Unfortunately, we do not have it for 6th graders, and I know I've got a lot of 6th graders that are dying to be able to be in athletics and play in the sports and things like that. But unfortunately, we do not have it for 6th grade, only 7th and 8th grade. We are getting ready to start volleyball on September 28th. Volleyball tryouts will begin. We're excited to be able to be playing this year and be able to have this opportunity for our kids. We've been working really hard to get a good, safe return to play for everybody. For all the sports and how we're going to do everything. We also have, after volleyball, we have basketball, then soccer, track and field, tennis, and we also have cross country that is starting for both boys and girls. This Thursday, for all 7th and 8th grade parents that have daughters that are going to play in any sport, not just volleyball, but in any sport throughout the year, we are having a meeting to talk about our program a little more in depth. The Zoom link was sent out through notification last night, I believe. So you can go through your emails or texts and find that one. If you have any questions about the girls athletics program, feel free to email me, and I can put my email in the chat. So that way you can email me any questions, or if you need any further information about anything. The big thing that we do need to make sure that all 7th and 8th graders have before they can set foot on any athletics practices, tryouts, or anything else is their physicals. They do have to be done and completed. Once they're completed, they can either be brought to the tryouts, or you can email them to me or fax them to the school, and we can get all of that taken care of. But that's going to be the big thing. If you need copies of that, I can also get you copies of the physical. But again, any other questions about girls athletics, I'll be happy to answer any of those. Coach Jones?
Would help if I unmute myself. All right, I'm Coach Jones. I'm the boys athletic coordinator. And just piggybacking on what Coach Page was talking about, pretty much we similar situation. The main thing I want to point out is that on Wednesday, which is tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we are going to have a parent meeting for any board that's looking to play football. That right now, football is the first sport that's going to be playing for the fall. The first game actually is October 10th. So we are really trying to speed up and get some things going. We're still waiting on as many physicals as possible. We're still trying to determine who's going to play. But as it is right now, we actually have about 45 boys that came out yesterday, a total of 45 between 7th and 8th grade. But instead of going into a whole lot of details about athletics at this time, what I would like to do is to be able to, any parents that's interested in their son playing football, we having a meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock. There you can get a lot more information about what's coming up with football. The rest of the schedule, cross country, I'm coaching cross country this year. And the first cross country meet is October 7th. I have about 7 boys that's out there right now, and I'm taking the girls as well. We are getting ready for that. So if you got any question in cross country, I can answer that for you. But as far as football is concerned, I will kind of yield to tomorrow at 7 o'clock, where the head coach is going to go into more detail, approximately as far as what the plan is for football, as far as the do's and don'ts. And there's quite a few this year compared to the past couple of years. So as it is right now, I would go ahead and just leave it to that point to where we can do football type questions. If you have any for me right now, but if you do have a child that can be playing football, tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we will be having a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and that information was sent out through Coach Wilson. He sent that out to parents as well as we gave that information to kids, and it's on his Canvas webpage as well. And that's all I have. Back to you, Ms. Gunter.
It's Miss Leon. Sorry, I apologize for the link earlier not working. I created a whole new form. It's good to go. I already got about 40 submissions, so it's working. I'm going to post it one more time for those of you who may have missed it. This is the new one. If you've already submitted it, you're good to go. There we go. And then Ms. Gunter is going to post a link to a parent survey. So be sure to please do those 2 things before you guys log off. Also, if you have any questions, we're going to open it up for questions. If you guys have any ideas or topics that you would like us to address in the future meetings, if you could put that in the chat as well. That way we make sure we're giving you information that you all are wanting. So if you have any questions, the floor is yours.
I did see a question in the chat that asked if students would be able to come to electives if they opted to stay home.
Yes, we are allowing students to come to fine arts and CAPE classes, but the parents have to be able to drop the children off and pick them up. There's no bus transportation for that. It's only parent pick up and drop off, and we're not allowing the kids to walk to and from school.
And then I saw a question regarding cross country, and when does that start?
Actually, cross country, we started yesterday. The boys are actually practicing at this point. We just finished our practice session about half an hour ago. And what I recommend is if they are interested in cross country, they can bring me their physical or drop it off at the front and show up here at 4:30 every day. 4:30, we'll be in practice at 4:30.
And then they can go to any sport physical location just as long as they bring you a physical, correct?
That's right. Just bring me a physical, and that's their ticket to get in and do what we need to do as far as training, practices, and that type of thing.
Coach Jones, do you want it on the Judson ISD form?
Well, right now we are accepting any physical at the doctor's office because in some cases, some of the kids already had physicals done earlier, and we're accepting those because it's good for a year. So, but if they need a form, I can actually get that form to them via email if they send me their email address, or if they happen to come by the school, the front we have some physicals in the front as well, the front area.
Someone asked a question about transportation. If this is a school of choice for you, if you're choosing to come to Metzger and this is not your school of attendance, then you do not get transportation. Also, you can contact transportation. There is a form on the district website for transportation. You fill that form out in addition to the form that you filled out during registration, and they'll be able to help you as to what the bus numbers will be. And Ms. Cifuentes, can you please answer some of the questions in the chat about 8th period?
Yes, ma'am. So our 8th period, I will tell you the counselors and the APs have been working on 8th period. 8th period is not a scheduled class in our frontline. So what we are doing is we are creating manually an 8th period by grade level. So we're doing it alphabetically, although there are some students that will be with certain teachers for example, for honors band, for interventions, for math and English, things like that. So what is going to happen is by tomorrow, all the teachers will get a list of these students that they will have, and they're going to be emailing and calling those students and letting them know there's going to be a new Canvas link on their assigned teachers class for 8th period. So they will be reaching out to you before Friday to let you know what specific teacher they will have for their 8th period. And some of the things that we'll be doing in there, we'll be doing some more interventions for math. We'll be using Imagine Math, Imagine Reading. We'll be doing some more social studies and science enrichments, just different things like that. Counselors may go in and do some different guidance classes. A variety of things will happen during that time. And if you have any questions, if your students have not been contacted by a teacher about 8th period, please let us know before Friday and we'll help you.
And then Mr. Hall, you're getting emails from Canvas because you're most likely connected to your student as an observer. So that would be why you're getting the emails daily. The front line is different than Canvas.
Okay. And you, what?
My question is, so how do I get to the front line?
You can access that on our Judson main page under, if you scroll down to the middle of the page, there's a box that says Parent Self-Serve.
Okay,
Mr. Hall, I just shared with you the link in the chat. If you click that link, that'll take you to the Parent Self-Serve and you can create a login.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Coach Jones, there's a question about athletics, about her son is in a regular PE class and he would like to play football. Can he still play in sports or does he need to change his classes? Coach Jones there? Oh, you're muted, Coach Jones.
There we go. Yes, there we go. All right, that's a question. That's a popular question. Your child don't have to be in athletics to play a sport. All they need to do is football. Football is not one of those sports that you have to try out. All you're trying on for is a position within the team. Everyone that comes off of football can indeed participate once they have a desire to do that. So all they have to do at this point is bring a physical into myself or Coach Wilson and come on out. We are meeting here every day at 4:30. We're going to meet and finish about 6:30, 6:15. And they'll be ready to go. All they can be doing is trying out to see what position they get to play on the team, but they will be part of the team.
All right,
So
we have
as
a
far
couple
as changing,
Oh, go ahead.
as far as changing classes, they don't have to.
Thank you so much, sir. We do have a couple questions about Chromebooks, students that still haven't received Chromebooks or new students needing Chromebooks.
We still have not received any Chromebooks as of yet, but if your student is unable to get online for any reason that they don't have any other source of technology, we do have packets available for them if they will not be returning face-to-face on Monday. If your student is still going to continue virtual and you do not have access to technology, we can provide work packets for them. And what they would need to do is just take a picture with their phone and email that to their teacher, or they can drop it off at the school and we'll make sure the teachers get their work.
What time will the packets be available to sequences?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
What time will the packets be available?
They're ready right now, ma'am, if you need them.
Thank you.
Just give us a call and we'll get them for you.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, I have a question about football. When were you guys reaching out to people? Because I never got a call back. I have been called by Coach Jones twice and no one has called back at all. So I'm just wondering, because my son's been sitting here waiting.
Okay, question for you. Is your son in PE or athletics at this time?
He has
What
neither. He has band and he has tech apps. You had him at athletics, but you took him off of it. His name is Charles Mundy.
Oh, Charles, okay. Well, I tell you what, Mr. Monday, you and I have talked before in the past. All you got to do is get me a physical up here, and he shows up at 4:30. This entire week, we'll be here for 4:30. Come on up, and he got no problem getting on. I think the problem was that we were able to reach out to all the athletic kids, the ones in athletics, who were the first ones we get in contact with, as well as all the ones in PE that we have. We put the word out in PE. So those are the two avenues we use to try to get the word out about football. And I was kind of surprised they did not follow up with our conversation that we had before about getting this physical up to us and just coming on up here. He's ready to go. Bring me that physical, and he comes up here at 4:30. He's ready to go.
Okay, well, I was waiting on your call back because I already have his physical, so I was waiting on you guys' call back. So, but he'll be there tomorrow at 4:30.
Have him bring it up here tomorrow. Come ready to practice tomorrow with the physical in hand. We will take care of him at that time.
All right.
That good? All right.
Yep.
We had a question that if they chose virtual and they need to change to face, how do they do that?
All they would really need to do is contact the grade level counselor or even the administrator. Let us know, and we would just make sure to see that your registration documents have all been completed and turned in, and we can help you there.
Coach Page, what time are volleyball tryouts?
Volleyball tryouts will start at 4:30. However, any girls that are trying out for volleyball, they need to be at the school between 4 and 4:15. And they will enter through the blue doors that face the tennis courts out in the bus loop area. So if you're walking towards the football field, you'll pass the water fountain, and then there's a set of blue doors. That is where all the girls will enter for volleyball tryouts if they are virtual. So one thing I failed to mention, and I apologize, if your student is going to be virtual only, they can still participate in sports. That's completely fine, but parents will have to be able to bring them to school at the designated time. And we're going to go over things in more detail in our meeting on Thursday.
And the screener, they want to know if the screener is going to be used. Does the parent do the screener before the child arrives to school? And do they show the results, or how do we get the results?
The screeners will be done before the child arrives at school. the administrators get the results in a chart form. So we'll know the kids that are accepted to come to school. If they're not accepted, you'll see a big red X on your screen. If they are accepted, you get a green check, then the kids can come to school. And like I say, we will get that information in the morning when we come to work. Just as our teachers do the Qualtrics check-in, and I get that report every morning, I'll get the same report on the students every morning.
Question. So I guess my question is, if when you guys are doing these schedule changes for the students that are going into the new schedules, are you guys requiring them to make up the assignments that have already been placed for the other students?
The previous teacher and the new teacher should be in communication. And so if they're doing, for example, I know there were some leveling schedule changes recently, and that was within the content area like ELAR. So they are all aligned. So there shouldn't be any extra assignments that they would need to be complete. It would probably be the same thing.
Let me be more specific. My child now has a theater arts class that he has on his schedule. He didn't have theater arts 3 weeks ago, and he never had that course, whatever. So now is he going to be required to catch up with the other students? Or
no, ma'am. If he just now was put in that class, then he is starting from that day. He is not going to be required to make up the last 3 weeks of assignments.
Okay, and then also, how am I supposed to get in contact with the theater arts teacher, because she does not have an email address in which that I can email her?
Okay. Will you put your email in the chat, and I will contact you tomorrow?
Miss Cifuentes, I'll send it to her because I sent that email with his schedule on it. So the teacher's email should have been in the email I sent to you, Miss Severson. And if it wasn't in there, then I'll get it to you. Because I emailed her the schedule when I emailed his schedule to you today.
I know there's a really important question in the chat in regards to our sixth graders coming in. How are they going to know how to get around and where to go on Monday? We do have a plan. I know Mr. G primarily went over the schedule, but we do have a safety plan in place, and he mentioned that there is a video on our website and on Facebook. There's also a newsletter that has gone out with that video. Now, that being said, when the students arrive, we do have requirements or guidelines in place for where they're coming in and where they go next, because basically when they arrive, we're going to be trying to move them to get their breakfast and move them and ensuring that they are socially distanced. We're going to have staff throughout the campus that will be guiding them and helping them along the way and getting them to their first period class for sure. And that very first day will be a lot of introduction to the expectations of what's going to be happening on the campus, just kind of like a first day for them. We've asked a lot of our teachers to make sure that that first day, that face-to-face, is kind of, we reiterate the expectations and the routines and what's going to be happening on campus. So we will be helping guide your students to help them to get where they need to get.
For volleyball and football, are they allowed to stay after school and just go straight to the gyms?
No, I will have a plan set up and directions of where the girls need to go for volleyball, because they will not be able to be in the gyms. So we'll have all that set up. I'll put signs out and everything and directing kids where they need to go.
Someone's asking for the sign in, Miss Leon, if you'll put that in the chat one more time. So if anybody has missed the attendance for today, or I know we had a couple that couldn't find the correct link, Miss Leon did just place that in the chat.
I have a question about the screening. That's going to be done every morning, and then they'll let us know if they're able to go to school. Is that correct?
Yes, and the screener is going to be emailed to the parents' email addresses that we have on file.
And as soon as you get the last question, you submit it, you'll immediately get the response. You'll immediately get a red X or a green check.
Okay, so it's just based off of like their symptoms, if they have any things like that, right? Okay, okay.
You'll answer 4 questions, yes or no.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I have a question. I think Ms. Hardaway was speaking earlier about parents that needed to submit documents would have received a phone call. So if we didn't get a phone call, then we don't need to submit documents.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Did you need me to repeat it?
No, I was just asking if we did not receive a phone call, does that mean all of our documents have been received, or do I still need to call the school and check?
That means then your documents would have been received. If you haven't received a phone call from us, that means we have the documents we need from you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, yes, I have a question. Do the students need to bring their laptops to school?
Yes, ma'am. Chromebooks need to be brought every day, charged, and bring their chargers with them as well.
Yeah, we'll have plugins, but please have it charged at night.
He has a personal laptop.
I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, did he receive a Chromebook?
No, we got him a personal laptop.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend him bringing his own laptop, honestly, but I would, get a Chromebook checked out as soon as we get them, just because, if something happens, if he leaves it somewhere, we're going to, try to recover it could be an issue and stuff like that. I mean, that's just my recommendation.
I know we had a question earlier. I can't find it, but it was pertaining to updating phone numbers, and they wanted to know if they needed to do it through Canvas, I believe. But does that go through Ms. Williams to update a phone number?
That would be correct, but they can also update their contact themselves in the parent self-serve.
Okay. And then we don't have a definitive date on Chromebooks, correct?
That's correct as well.
A question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I said this one time before, and I think I'm piggybacking for somebody else. My daughter, we didn't get a survey to decide on going back to school, and we'd like to go back to school. So how do we get her back into school?
Just make sure that she goes through her social studies teacher. Have her contact her social studies teacher.
A social studies teacher or a counselor? I don't know.
No, the social studies teachers are the ones who did the survey for us.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Robertson, we have a question about the parent self-serve that they don't see all the tabs as it was demonstrated earlier.
Yeah, I'm messaging the parent privately right now.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Mr. G, lunch question. How's that going to work?
So students are going to report their 5th period, and then we're going to start or on A day and 6 on B day, and then we're going to, once again, this all depends on numbers. I mean, we've set up some procedures in the cafeteria. We have designated areas with little signs saying socially distanced where kids can sit. We're going to be down there sitting them. we have procedures in play. What we're going to do, we can fit about 100 and maybe 40 or 50 people in the cafeteria, I believe. Am I right, Mr. Chestnut? Somewhere in that area. And then if we start going over, we have a couple contingency plans where we have some extra teachers at that time, or some might have to eat in the classroom. Where, you know, we also put some extra seats, you know, on the stage and so forth. And so we're going to bring the 6th grade down. Once they're done, we're going to sanitize everything with the custodians. You know, we got the special sanitizer and all that stuff. And then, you know, there's 10 minutes between, and the next lunch will come down at 7th. So we're going to be trying to do social distance. We're going to be sanitizing. We're going to, you know, try to be on the ball. Once again, if we get a huge influx of students, then there's a very distinct possibility it could go in the classroom. That's our last resort. But we have a couple other options where we could use part of the gym if we need to, the library and so forth. And you know, so they're going to eat regular lunches, come through, have their lunch number, or bring their own lunch. Lunch menu available. I think it should be online.
And I know I had discussed earlier in another meeting that we had that our campus has been provided that everyone on this campus will have free breakfast and free lunch. And so there won't be any, I mean, the kids will, if they want to buy something extra like a cookie or a drink or something, they'll need money for that in their account. But other than that, our campus is one of the 7 campuses in the district who has been given that option. And so with that being said, you didn't have to fill out the free and reduced lunch forms that you're used to filling out, but we will be requiring you to fill out a different form. It will be coming out in the month of October. And so we do need that form filled out because that helps us with our economically disadvantaged percentages, which again helps us with STAR. And so we do not have that a form right now, but when that form does come out, I'm going to push that out probably through the English classes. And so once you see that form, I'm asking that you fill that form out and send it directly into the campus so we can get that information over to TEA.
Ms. Davidson, does the parent screener go out like ours so they'll get their first screener around 5 a.m. Monday morning?
I'm not sure what time it's going to go out. I'm hoping it's not that early, but we haven't been told what time it's going to go out. And so I'm hoping it's more closer to 6:30, you know, so they'll know whether or not they can get on the bus.
Mr. G, we have a lot of questions about start and end time for the day. If you just want to address that real quick.
Yeah, so once again, you know, we start serving breakfast at 7:30. And then once again, it's going to be in a classroom, and then the class starts at 8. So if your student says virtual, they got to log on at 8 instead of 9. And of course, it's built in with breaks for passing periods and so forth. And the end of the day is at 3:30. We'll start doing a staggered dismissal about 3:20, where we'll start bringing out our car riders first. So if you're a car rider, you know, we'll be staggering them about 3:20, 3:25. It's just all the, you know, nowadays we're going to try to get them all in the building. Then we're going to start with the buses. Now, I can't speak for transportation. You know, we're going to get the kids on the buses as the buses are there and get them out as fast as possible. I don't know what it's going to look like this year. Last year we had some buses that were double routed, and so kids got home a little bit later. But you know, our goal is to get them on there, and if that's the case, we'll have them socially distanced. We're planning every little. We're trying to plan for everything, and we're planning for the unknown. We're doing our best, and so. But yes, it's 8 to 3:30 are the actual school hours.
And the screener will just be for returning face-to-face students, yes?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. If you happen to get the screener and your child is a virtual kid, don't worry about it. You don't have to fill it out. I'm not sure that the district is going to know exactly which child chose what environment to be taught in. And so like it only needs to be filled out for the child that comes to school. You don't need to fill it out if your child's gonna stay home, and don't worry about it. If you continue to get it and it's a mistake, then just let us know, and we'll get with the district office, and we'll figure out a way to get your name off that list. But for right now, it only needs to be the kids that are coming back face to face.
And Mr. Hernandez keeps putting it in the chat, folks, to make sure that your student has their shots, because if not, they can't come to school. That's a state law. So Mr. Hernandez put it in the chat several times, even virtual learners. Am I correct, Mr. Hernandez? They need to have their shots?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Parents, it's like Mr. G said, it's no school, no shots, no shots, no school. We have to have those in. It's very, very important. One other thing I wanted to mention, Mr. Gostella, is water bottles. All the students may bring water bottles to school. We're trying to look up to see what the plan is as far as water fountains. Right now, we're not allowed to use them, and the cafeteria may not put up water stations as well. So parents, please send your students with a water bottle to school.
Coach Jones, there's a question on there about football, and I'm going to assume you're going to be doing tutoring from a certain time, correct? Because that's their question from 3:30. What are they going to do till practice? Yes.
Yeah, 3:30. The plan is from 3:30 to 4:15. The plan is to have tutoring available to the students, and then at 4:15 they end their tutoring, and then they come and get dressed and get ready to get on the field and get started at 4:30. So they got a 15-minute window from the time they leave tutoring to get that going. And the coach is going to monitor the classrooms for the kids that's here on campus. And of course, the ones that's virtual, they're going to just show up at 4:30. But the ones who are on campus, we're going to make sure that we are finding them in their classroom and making sure they're in their classroom and come back and see us at 4:15 to get ready to leave and go on the field at 4:30.
And I'm going to emphasize something that I'm the administrator of athletics. I'm a former coach, and I'm going to emphasize grades. Grades are absolutely important, virtual or not, and we're going to have to find a way to do virtual grade checks, but students need to turn their grade checks into play. It's not an option. If they don't turn their grade checks in, it's typically because they're trying to hide something because they don't want to do a little extra work or not. But we need to get those grade checks into play this year, and I'm holding the coaches accountable. So don't be surprised if you get a call saying they haven't turned their grade check in. But if they don't have it in by a certain, since the games are Saturdays, I'm going to make a mandate of Wednesday. The students not playing that week because we're one thing that we got to start focusing on is we're students first. And sometimes around this area that, I know we're at Judson, but we think we're athletes first. No, we're students first. And so we're trying to create good, outstanding students. So I really need those grade checks in. And I've already talked to my coaches. It's not non-negotiable. So, and when it comes to it, if we got to have a conversation, I'm not going to budge on that. We need those grade checks in. We want to get those grades up because academics is first, and we don't want to lose students. We've been known to lose too many athletes and go down to one team, and it doesn't make Metzger look good, and they've talked about it, and we're trying to change that. So please emphasize grades, whether they're home, at school, and behavior too. We want our athletes to walk around and with some pride and act, like good young men that they're going to be and be helpful and give back to the people. And then that's all I'm going to leave at that, Coach. I'm sorry. I just wanted to put that out there.
Come Wednesday.
There was a question in the chat about how to turn in the immunizations. You can upload the immunizations into the Parents portal. Also, you can email them to Nurse Tillman. You can email them to me, and I'll put our email addresses in the chat so we can get those, and we'll get them uploaded for you. Okay?
And those students that were missing shots, they've all been called, correct?
That is correct. Nurse Tillman, you're on. You can speak.
I just want same thing that you were saying, just that we need the shots, and I'm going to type my email address in there so they could send that. Those are already a month past due, so we need those in.
So we have notified all parents that are delinquent in their shots that we need those shots. We have notified them.
Yes.
To answer your question, Ms. Gunter.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chestnut also put in the chat, it's just 2 spaces up about registering your student for the bus. So you can click on that link that he provided to get them registered.
And to clarify, they do have to be registered to ride the bus, correct? Yes? Okay.
Yes, that is correct. They do have to be registered. So I would recommend you call now. I'm hearing that it is taking a couple of days to get transportation set up so that you don't have to worry about it. So I would recommend you go ahead and do that today.
Nurse Tillman, there's a question about a nebulizer.
About a nebulizer? What's the question?
The student needs to use it throughout the day, so they're asking if they're allowed to go do those treatments.
Actually, the district does not want any nebulizers this year because of it, because of the spray. They don't want to spread the virus. So it's only inhalers this year.
And Nurse Tillman did put her email in the chat as well. So if you need to send immunization records, it's right there, stillman@judsonisd.org.
I do have a question about athletics. So when you, here it seems like you guys did as well as they have a physical to be on the team. Is that how it's going to be next year, or is that always how it is?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yes, so this year you guys are saying if the child has a physical, then they can come out, and the only thing that they have to do is just determine what position they're going to play, like football.
Right.
So is that always how you guys have it set up, or is this special because it's COVID? And then I guess my second question is, will you guys be continuing on this process of you get a physical in and you just come in and see what position you're going to play for next year?
Basically for football, like I said earlier, for football, it's not about a matter of making the team. Everyone that comes out and have a desire to play, they are indeed going to make the team. What's going to happen during practices and games, the coaches will determine what position fit that person best. So basically, they're going to be competing with other kids on the team for a specific position. Let's say they're running back and they did running back in the past. They may try out for running back, but they may have somebody else they're competing against for that position. So basically, it's going to be up to the coaches and how well they do at that particular position that they're going to play. But as far as making a team, they will be on the team once they have a desire to play and they have the grades to play.
And then to answer your question about the physicals are done yearly. So every year, and they're good for a year. So if he were to get the physical beginning of 7th grade year and August 1st, then the physical would be good until August 1st of the following year. But physicals do have to be done yearly for all athletics.
Thank you guys so much.
It is just past 7:02, so for those of you that don't have any more questions, thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Leon is going to put the attendance link in the chat one more time, so please, if you have not done your attendance, please do that before you head out. And if you have a question still lingering, a couple of us will be here for a few more minutes, but other than that, you guys are free to go, and thank you so much for joining us.
Also, if there's any topics you want us to cover in the future meetings, if you guys can put it in the comments, that way we make sure that we can get you all the information that you are interested in.
And one of our goals is to touch on some academic needs and all that. So if you guys have any needs for academics, if we need to bring in some math or ELR teachers to teach some strategies to help you at home, please let us know that so we can definitely provide that opportunity for you.
I do have a question. Sorry, can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. So as far as like with the academic tracker for like the athletes, I know the grades are not updated weekly. So say like if the child is not passing like say 1 week and we turn in the thing, I'm sorry, I drew a blank there, and we turn it in, are they exempt from playing that week, and is it going to continue like that since the grades are not updated weekly?
It doesn't determine your eligibility. It just lets the coach have an idea what's going on, where you stand to prepare. I mean, I'm not going to speak for the coaches. I mean, that was my day. They know the expectations, so I'm going to let them take that one.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if I don't know if y'all can hear me. I've been trying to get on the Zoom's got my grandkids, so I'm shuffling between all 6 of them. But my 7th grade granddaughter wants to get into the track, and so we just need physicals. But I took Marty's social security card and the proof of, I guess it's, I think I have every other shot already there. So with Victoria, I would just need to have the physical doctor her.
Yes, so you just need to make sure you get the physical taken care of. And you fill out the front part with the medical history. A doctor will fill out the other part, and we just need to see that they are cleared to play and the doctor has signed it saying that they're good for whatever athletics. So that's all she would need to do.
Okay.
Coach Page, can you guys answer the question before too?
Oh, about the academics and the grade
Yeah,
checks?
Yes.
So I know on the girls' side, I ride them about making sure that they have all their grades. Teachers should be updating grades, and so I also tell the girls that sometimes you may have to contact your teacher to find out what's going on. If I see that a kid is struggling, and every week, or they contact me and they tell me, hey, this teacher hasn't updated grades, I don't know what to put down. I may end up contacting the teacher saying, hey, I'm just wondering how this kid is doing or what's going on with this kid. But I also encourage my girls to reach out to their teachers and say, hey, this was my grade last week and it hasn't changed. And if they're looking at all their assignments and they're seeing that some haven't been input, they can also talk to the teacher and say, hey, is my grade different? Like, what's going on? And again, if the kids are having issues, then I will go and talk to the teacher and find out what's going on with that kid's grades in that class. So we definitely want to make sure that they are passing classes, and we know that grades don't always get updated when things go out. That's why we try to make sure we send out the grade checks on Tuesdays. And they have, at least the girls have, until Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. So they have all day Tuesday to kind of check out, see what their grades are and contact teachers. And then Wednesday morning by 9 a.m. they should be turned in. If I see that there needs to be adjustments to that and I change it to maybe Wednesday afternoons to give them more time, then I can do that. But we definitely try to work with the kids, especially if there's a situation where, teacher didn't get the grades updated or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I have one more question. I'm so sorry. My son's coach did put in I guess the parent chat. I'm sorry, and he said that the grade check was to be put in on Thursday. So is it going to be officially Wednesday? The grade check needs to be in.
So yeah, so the boys have a different day than what the girls do, because our games and everything are on Thursdays and the boys are on Saturdays, so they have a little bit different schedule. So for boys, you go with whatever their coach said, and for me, I can only speak for the girls' due dates.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Was there a parent survey in addition to the attendance form that we needed to complete for today?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat one more time.
Okay, thank you. I can't find it.
Question. As far as the physical, Coach Page, do you want her to bring the physical with her to the tryouts? Or do you want me to email it to you?
She can bring it to the tryouts. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
As long as I have it before she steps foot in the building and on the court, we're good.
Okay. Okay.
If they rode the bus last year, can they automatically ride this year? Or do they re-register?
They have to re-register.
When were you guys gonna have the recorded Zoom meeting that you guys are doing right now? Will it be on the Facebook page or will it be emailed out?
Yeah, we'll put it on the Facebook page tomorrow. It's going to be too long to try to email. I'll get it from whoever's recording it. I'll get it to the right people. We'll get it on the YouTube channel, the website, or Facebook?
Thank you, Ms.
I got one more question. As far as the survey, you want me to talk to the social studies teacher. Is she on Zoom right now? Can I talk to her offline, or how do I?
Mr. Hall, have your student reach out to their social studies teacher tomorrow, because the survey is probably in Canvas and they just need to open it and complete it.
Actually, the survey's been closed, Mr. Hall, but I'm over the social studies department. If you'll just tell me your daughter's name and what grade level.
Deja Hall.
And what grade? Eighth grade. Is
Eighth
she
grade,
going
sir.
to be face-to-face or virtual?
We want to go back to face-to-face.
Deja Hall. I will add that person. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and so if the old, like if Victoria and Marisol want to go back to school Monday, face to face, they have to take all their books and the computer and everything. Will they bring the computer and the books back when they come home, or it stays there at school?
They should take their materials with them. We're not storing any student materials at the school this year.
Okay.
For example, in the past, we've stored journals in the classroom and things. We're not doing that this year. Students have to keep up with their own materials because of COVID. We don't want to leave materials behind after a student has been in class.
Okay, so are they going to be going to the classrooms, or are they going to be in a cafeteria 6 feet apart?
When we go back on Monday, the 28th, we'll be going back to classrooms, and your children will be doing 4 classes a day. On the A day, they'll be doing their 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th class. And on the B day, they'll be doing their even classes, 2, 4, 6, and 8.
But what I think what I'm asking is, are they going to be in the classroom with the teacher?
They're going to the teacher's
it's going
classroom.
to be the kids are put somewhere else and they're talking to the teacher through.
No, ma'am, your students will be going from class to class to the teacher's classroom.
Okay. And they have to have their masks and all that. Now, is it okay if I let them take their alcohol with them, or no, they're not allowed to do that?
Hand sanitizer is appropriate, ma'am.
Okay. Hand sanitizer, mask, and then
a water bottle.
And then dropping the doors open at 7:30.
Yes, ma'am. We begin letting students in.
Like it was last year, exactly at 7:30.
Yes, ma'am.
And then they get to eat breakfast and all that.
Yes, ma'am. And they'll be getting their breakfast and going to their first period class or second period class, depending on the day, and eating that first half hour in the classroom.
Okay.
Let me try to find this answer for you.
We're gonna wrap this up here shortly. We have any final questions before we go and wrap this up?
So if the students are doing their checkpoints after, so say like the school, we have to have our attendance in by a certain time. So if they do the checkpoint after that time, the next morning we go in and we look at it and then we do corrections.
Options for real, for warm and cool.
As far as the
Mr. Hall, you're muted. If you could unmute for us.
As far as the bus transportation, you say I have to register for the bus. It's right in front of my house.
It doesn't matter, sir. Everybody has to have registered for the bus in order to get on the bus this year. So we put it a couple times in the chat. The form that students to register for.
Okay. Thank you.
And remind your students to have their mask, please. All right. Are there any more final questions before we wrap this up? We're getting ready to wrap this up.
Okay, we thank you guys very much for attending, and we'll have another one in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, Ms. Gunter. When is the next one scheduled?
Let me look at the calendar. I believe it's 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll have another one in 2 weeks, but know that I'll continue to send out the Bright Arrow messages, and all the other social media outlets that we also have. We put all the information everywhere we can put it. So if you have any questions, if you think of something that we didn't answer tonight, please feel free to email us or call us in the morning. We thank you very much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.